I could tell the moment I held up my thumb, it was what's happening. It went dead silent. So thank you for attending our Board of Supervisors meeting. As always, we appreciate it. It's Tuesday. It's in the morning. It's not the easiest time to make. So I always want to just say thank you for participating in your government with us and all the decisions that we make in this space and with our staff. So with that, we will call the Board of Supervisors meeting to order. It's 9 a.m., September 16th. We'll look through and Frank, you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? It's a problem if I know you by name and face. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I know, it's so squeaky. All right, wonderful. So we begin most of our meetings there with oral communications. I'm happy to see a crowded house today, which is great. This is the section for anything that is not on the agenda for you to be able to provide comments to the board. This would be 3 minutes. You'll have a beep at 1 minute, which says you got 1 minute left. And we're very fair and consistent with that. So please, once you get that 1 minute, make sure that you're wrapping it up as well. So with that, we're going to open up what's called oral communications. If anybody would like to speak on any item not on the agenda, please come forward to the podium. Your board's listening. Good morning.
Good morning. I know some of you guys know who I am, others maybe not, but my name is Logan Cross, and what I'm doing right now is I'm one of the founders and president of the Turning Point USA chapter starting at Columbia College. For those of you who don't know what Turning Point is, that was the organization that was founded by Charlie Kirk. And my goal on campus is to be an advocate for free speech and provide a platform for conservative and Christian voices on campus. That's one of my biggest goals in what I'm doing right now. And in light of all that, I just want to talk a little bit about Charlie Kirk and what he was to me and a lot of people in my generation. He was a voice who is fighting for us, encouraging and promoting open discussion and debate, and that is something that is super important, especially in today's world in light of essentially all the political terrorism that is going on right now. But to get to my next point, all that stuff has led me to plan a vigil on this coming Sunday, the 21st, from 12 to 3 in the Tuolumne Park. And that is going to be to honor his legacy and all that he did and to encourage more people to get involved. And that's what I wanted to talk to you all about today. Just wanted to make that announcement to everyone else in the room. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I hate to be the bad guy. I had to be the bad guy yesterday too, because we want to make sure that nobody feels intimidated coming up to the podium. We can't say it's okay to say your support if we're not also saying it's not okay to boo or something like that. We ask if people can hold back any applause, any boos, just to be able to allow people to speak. I know that sometimes that's coming down and saying don't cheer, but we also wouldn't want to make this to where people are getting booed up here too. So anyway, good morning.
Good morning. I am quite disgusted with many of the comments that I am seeing both nationally and locally following the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I firmly support freedom of speech. However, engaging in that right often comes with consequences. Sometimes those consequences are righteous and justified, and other times they are pure evil. In Charlie's case, they were pure evil. Charlie was assassinated for winning arguments and changing minds. He won those arguments using facts, science, common sense, and the wisdom given to him through his faith in God, the Bible, and his unwavering love for his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. This murder was an attack not only against Charlie, but also against our freedom of speech and against God himself. When God offered up Jesus on the cross, the war against evil, Satan, was won. It is done. Satan has nothing better to say and nothing better to offer. He lost the argument in that moment. Now his only response is to react with name-calling, dehumanizing, defamation, censorship, lies, and violence. Every tyrant in history has used the same exact tactics. It's evil. If whenever you lose an argument, you engage in any of those same tactics, please stop. You are engaging in evil. Fortunately, we do have a loving God, and He will extend a hand of forgiveness to you even if you have done these things. In the same way that a loving father still loves his children, even in their disobedience, God still loves us when we disobey, and He still wants us in His family. Did you hear that? God loves you. I believe this was Charlie's most important message. I also believe that if the shooter had just put down his gun and come to the microphone, that Charlie would have engaged him in a very respectful and meaningful conversation. But now we will never know what the result of that conversation might have been. Above all else, Charlie desired to be remembered for his faith, and I plan on doing that. He also has inspired me to be better and more bold with my own faith. Father in heaven, I thank you so much for sending Charlie to be with us. Thank you for the gifts you gave him and for empowering him to use those gifts. I thank you for his obedience to your calling. Thank you for the fact that you can take what was meant for evil and use it for good. I pray for Charlie's family. Send them your peace and love and use us for that. And bless all the young people who are currently starting chapters of Turning Point. Give them wisdom and courage and steadfastness and protection. Protect our freedom of speech, God. I pray all this in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Do we have additional public comment? There we go. Great. And we'll keep it open as it says 15 minutes on the agenda, but we want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to speak. So, good morning.
Good morning. So we are at a crossroads. The path we take toward extremism and division or toward reason and unity is being shaped by those we have chosen to lead us, and that includes the 5 of you. I am here to urge you to choose your words and actions carefully because the well-being of this community hangs in the balance. I hope everyone here can agree on one fundamental principle: violence is never acceptable, and political violence is especially corrosive to democracy. But the question before you is not about whether violence is okay. It is one of leadership. Does stepping into elected office demand that you set aside your personal opinions to consider what is best for this entire community, everyone, regardless of who they are or how they voted? And this is not abstract. Back in March of this year, this board affirmed its commitment to the 14th Amendment rather than passing Supervisor Campbell's resolution on hate crimes. Supervisor Kirk's resolution stated that, quote, equal protection under the law is essential in maintaining justice, public trust, and general welfare of the community. Furthermore, tomorrow is Constitution Day, and this board is considering a resolution today that calls for every Tuolumne County employee and elected official to complete an oath of office affirming allegiance to the U.S. Constitution. And Charlie Kirk stated his views about the 14th Amendment. He said, quote, it's way too broadly written. It should be narrowed in scope because it's, and I quote, used for voting rights cases and civil rights stuff. And anyone familiar with Charlie Kirk's rhetoric can easily guess whose civil rights Kirk would have eliminated. So we are at a crossroads. Is the promise of liberty and justice for all Americans a radical idea that should be discarded? Or is it essential to our community's welfare? Choosing to honor Charlie Kirk in this public chamber signals agreement with his political beliefs. It creates conflict with this board's own stated values, the values of the U.S. Constitution. It creates a conflict with the pledge to liberty and justice for all that opens every Board of Supervisors meeting. The consequences of this choice will be your legacy. I implore you to choose wisely. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have additional public comment? Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Olivia, for those of you who know me. And I am one of the people that is bringing Turning Point into Tuolumne County. After the last 2 weeks, I have chose to step into an active role once again in resolving political discourse in our community and bringing unity back. Despite political violence being an ever-growing issue in our country for more than 2 decades, little has been done to actually prevent and stop it from happening. Our news outlets, podcasts, and open social media platforms have continued to fuel a greater divide between people and widen the aisle between the parties. The shutdown of our country for nearly 2 years during COVID accelerated this already sinking, burning ship. Layered with our massive mental health crisis in America being masked with non-factual based ideology and medications, these compounding issues have led to our country into our record low. We have officially turned neighbor against neighbor. After watching Charlie Kirk, a momentous political figure in our modern age, be shot and killed over and over and over again in gruesome detail, thanks to, again, social media platforms. Then watching the vileness on these platforms celebrating a man's murder, attacking their friends and family who mourned, praising and trying to justify a murder just because the man had a different opinion than them. Knowing that they would probably celebrate my death or any death of any conservative that decides to speak out, I am at a loss of how to get through to them. I can accurately say we have officially lost touch of reality, and I truly fear the world that my children will inherit in adulthood if we do not start making a change now. Charlie Kirk strived to bridge the gap by having open conversations in a respectful manner to anyone who wanted to debate a situation or look for clarification and guidance. Despite being a religious man, he also based his opinions off of facts and was able to back them. I know our county does not have enough resources to instantly put in effect and enforce a Political Violence Act resolution. However, our county can start with the people while the latter is being developed. They can call people to join together for an open conversation to better understand each other's views, to find middle ground with one another, to support and facilitate in any capacity making these events possible in conjunction with those of us who donate our time willingly. We are a conservative-based group, but wholesomely welcome anyone who wishes to seek a better tomorrow for the United States, no matter their opinion. I urge our county choose the people over the power and start mending the divide. Our county still needs to pursue a political violence resolution to help curb and put an end to it before it's too far gone, but I know that this is going to take time to enact, adopt, and enforce. I hope that this is all done with the right to protect free speech, because that is what it ultimately comes down to. So thank you for your time today, and I'm sure that I will see you at a rally in the future.
Thank you. Do we have additional public comment?
Hello. Good morning
Morning.
to our community. About 4 weeks ago, there was in our newspaper about our waste management companies. And at the very end of the article, it said, let's just go with the more expensive one. I can't remember, but I wanted to bring it more up to date.
And ma'am, and I normally
Oh.
would never interrupt in it,
Oh.
just, and you're allowed to finish your comment, you can speak to
Oh,
us about it.
okay.
But that's actually something the city of Sonora is looking at.
Oh, okay.
Yep, so
That's
just to
why-
make sure, that's not the county franchise
Not-
contract, that's the city franchise contract. Yep.
Okay, well then I'm gonna end it here then. But I'm glad to be a part of this, and God bless America.
Thank you for being here. And if we can make sure too that everybody double check, silence your cell phones, movie theater rules on it too. Thank you. Make sure I do the same. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Brandon and supervisors. I'm Jen Lopez, Marketing Manager at Visit Tuolumne County. And I would like to take an opportunity this morning to share with you information about the 4th Annual Groveland Facelift that happened this past Saturday. 35 volunteers came for this cleanup event and collectively picked up 695 pounds of trash and recycling from in and around the Groveland area. Part of this cleanup is a cleanup along the old Priest Grade, which the Tuolumne County Public Works supports us by closing that for us for 2 hours in the morning, so our volunteers can safely get out there and clean that up. The Groveland facelift is under the umbrella of the renowned Yosemite facelift, which for over 20 years now has been drawing hundreds, if not thousands, of cleanup volunteers to Yosemite every September. It was started by the Yosemite Climbing Association, and they are the ones that spearhead the Groveland facelift as well. However, we do also have a dedicated committee, including First Light Resorts, Groveland Trailheads, the Stanislaus National Forest, Echo Adventure Cooperative, Visit Tuolumne County, and we also have support from Groveland Community Service District and also contributions from Mountain Sage Coffee and Nursery. Besides the old Priest Grade, volunteers also cleaned up areas along Ferretti Road, Diana Pools, Buck Meadows Road, around dispersed campsites and places where people pull off the road. Also along Evergreen Road with dispersed campsites and road pull-offs, the middle fork of the Tuolumne River Day Use area, and the south fork of the Tuolumne River Parking area, as well as a mile section along Highway 120. The Groveland facelift continues to showcase the power of local stewardship, partnership, and commitment to preserving Tuolumne County's natural resources and a welcoming environment. Secondly, I'd like to just remind you that the Tuolumne County Tourism Summit Awards and Partner Showcase is back on October 16th. It takes place at Chicken Ranch Casino Resort, and everybody is invited. And I do have a schedule here if I'm allowed to bring it up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We'll have a lot of exciting sessions at the Tourism Summit. The Senior Vice President of Marketing for Visit California, Lynn Carpenter, will be there. We'll have addressed by Supervisor Griefer as well. And so it will be a really great event, and we're looking forward to it and looking forward to seeing everybody there.
Jen, thank you. All right. Do we have additional public comment? Going around. There we go. Good morning.
Morning. If nobody else will do it, I will. I'm going to dedicate the first 15 seconds for a moment of silence in memory of Charlie Kirk and in prayer for his family. Thank you. And for those of you who disagree with...
And sir, we hate to be secrecy. Please address the board as well.
Okay, yeah, for those who disagree with him, I appreciate your cooperation and your going along with it.
Sure. All right. And do we have additional public comment? Hello, good morning.
Good morning. It's my first time here,
Welcome.
although I
That's
know
great.
several of you and I have followed your work. I want to say something about Charlie Kirk and what we're seeing in our community right now, today. This isn't just about politics or personalities. It's about the bigger battle between good and evil. As someone who runs one of the largest community social media platforms, I see both the good that unites people and the evil that tries to divide us. The challenge is that we have to agree on what is actually evil. God calls us to discern the truth, to call good good and evil evil, not based on emotions or personal opinions, but on his word. Hearts are deceitful. This is where leadership becomes critical. Leaders set the tone for what is tolerated and what is condemned. I have been a personal witness to almost every major event that goes through this room. And I can't say that I agree with the position on several of the issues that have come across. We also need to acknowledge that historical division is breaking bonds between neighbors and families in this community. And it is deeply affecting our youth. We are watching how, the youth is watching how the adults respond. Some of the responses are absolutely disgusting. And I really would hate to see that continue forward in our youth, okay? Because the children are watching people celebrate the death of a man, the assassination of a man today. They're watching it on social media. We have a responsibility to model what it looks like to stand for truth without hatred, to call out evil without tearing each other down. Like, it's okay to have a difference of opinion, but it's also really important to say what is evil is evil. This is why I support holding a community vigil for Charlie Kirk. A vigil would give us the opportunity to stand together, pray for healing, and send a clear message that we choose unity over division. It would be a moment for leaders and neighbors alike to reaffirm that we will not allow hate to define our community, but instead, we gather under God's standard of truth and love. Thank you.
Thank you. And do we have additional public comment? Good morning.
Morning. It's good to see you there. I know your dad well, and I know your dad well. And I don't know all of you guys' dads.
They're a little
All
older.
I wanted, what's that?
Said their dads are a little older.
Good dads. All I want to say is, in remembering Charlie Kirk and what has happened, it's important for all of us, for y'all sitting behind me and the board.
And sir, sorry, can you please
remember-
address the board too? Remember, we also have the camera,
Yeah,
so if you're
good,
facing
good.
that way, they're
There
going to
you
get
go.
the back of your head.
I'm not seeing, but there you are.
Yeah.
To remember, to embrace both sides. A lot of my family are Democrat, and they live up in the Northwest, and I love them with all of my heart, and they love me. It's important for us to embrace each other. When we disagree, but we don't do it vehemently, and we don't do it with action to hurt each other, which is what this young man's life was all about, Charlie Kirk. And I just want to say, when I heard and when I saw on social media, I picked up and it was within minutes of him, my first instinct in my heart was almost burst out in tears because of the event and why it took place, the event. And a lot has been said about good and evil here. But the second thing came out of my mouth immediately was God raised up millions of Charlie Kirks. Like this young man sitting behind me. And I prayed for that to happen in this area. I want to thank you people, you guys and the people of this community, that we are by and large a godly community. We want the best for America. We want America to be great. It isn't about I'm a Republican. It isn't about I'm a Democrat. It's what are we doing to make Sonora, Jamestown, Tuolumne, Columbia, what are we doing to make us better? And when somebody disagrees with us and say, you know what, I respect your opinion. I disagree with you, but it's okay to disagree. Embrace that. Don't get to the far right. Don't get to the far left. Come together on what he wants to do, what God himself wants to do with this nation. God bless America, and God bless our Board of Supervisors.
Thank you. Do we have additional public comments?
Chairman Brandon, I want to take
Morning.
exception with your comments to the speaker about waste management. We've had a lot of conversation today that is not within the jurisdiction of Tuolumne County. And even though waste management franchise agreement is with the city, it's going to have some significant impacts on the county. And I think she should be allowed to say what she wanted to say.
Thank you. And she was allowed to continue the comment, and if you'd like to, you're allowed to as well. So please just let me know.
Yeah, I didn't hear that you specifically said that she could continue
Yeah.
with what she was saying. You were just clarifying
I
the
have
fact that,
been known to sometimes garble my words.
what I'm saying
this
is,
microphone, so.
I didn't see anything wrong with that interaction,
Thank you.
so.
All right.
But I'm open if she would like to speak again.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you? I didn't come this morning with anything prepared, but I heard about this meeting, and given the news with Charlie Kirk, I felt compelled to come, just because he was someone that stood up and confronted evil and was a great communicator of those things that I try to be a communicator of to my family and my children. And what moved me very much this last week is my children weeping as they heard the news of Charlie being shot for being an outspoken Christian apologist, as well as somebody who represents our values in our home. And so I just came to stand here and acknowledge that. I believe it's very important at this time that we stand. And I have told my children that it is a time to stand. And so I would like to just invite those in the room who would like to stand in honor of Charlie Kirk and those who represent, just to stand now. For those who don't have something to say today, like I didn't, I just came to stand. And for those of you who are standing and don't have the words, it says a lot. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right. And do we have additional public comment? Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for this meeting. My name is Erin Ross. I'm a citizen here. And I tried to write a few things, but it's been a challenge. But I just wanted to say that a few quotes from Charlie Kirk, and maybe they've been said already. One of the things he said is that Black women do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. He also said, if I see a Black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. I really wonder if people who mourn the loss of someone who promotes things like this understand what it's like for people like me. Do you know that I have a growing sense of fear for my own safety and the safety of the people I love in this community? Do you know that I am far less afraid of a Black man than I am of someone who lives across the street from me? A white person? I'm also wondering if this board had called for a moment of silence for Melissa and Mark Hortman, who were murdered in their home by a right-wing extremist, or for DeMar Travion Reed, who was found hanging with both arms broken from a tree in Mississippi yesterday, for the young man who was nearly beaten to death right here in our community. Where do we draw the line at who we hold moments of silence for? I would like to offer the rest of my time for a few moments of silence for Charlie Kirk, for his family, his children, for Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark and their children who now no longer have parents, and also for all the people who have died at the hands of extremists everywhere. I pray that this community cares more about the safety of our people than we do about telling stories about each other. I will use the rest of my time for silence. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Gary Whitson. All I want to come up and say is, I believe that the people are missing the whole point of what happened last week. This doesn't pertain to what their political views were. They were peacefully giving what they felt was, they were doing their views in a peaceful manner. And I believe our country should be able to express themselves. We should be able to come before a board of supervisors and give our opinions and our feelings on what's going on in our community without the fear of repercussions or violence. When I attended a political function last Saturday night, and we had to have Tuolumne County sheriffs there, there's something wrong with our society. I honestly believe that a big part of that is social media. I believe that people hide behind their phones and their computers, and they incite violence. I don't care what Charlie Kirk believed in. I believe in the way that he did it. And I believe that you as elected officials have made the choice that you are on not just the county, but the national platform. And the way that you guys conduct yourselves, not only in this room, but in your lives, is what's going to drive how Tuolumne County acts. So that's all I've got, but it really bothers me that someone would get up and leave the room when we're honoring someone that's been killed. I don't care who it is, that is wrong. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have additional public comment? I can see one back. There we go. Good morning.
Good morning. So I'm sitting back there, I'm going, how did we get here? How did this nation get here to where an assassination takes place like this? I'm old enough to remember John F. Kennedy. I'm old enough to remember, and there's a few of us sitting in here that remember these assassinations that took place. Martin Luther King. I was here, or I remember 9/11. I remember where I was at. I remember landing on the moon. I was in a different country, in Argentina, when we landed on the moon. All these things are imprints into our soul, into our lives, into our story. And so today, we are encouraged because of an assassination of a young man who really was probably killed because he preached the gospel, because he encouraged a nation, once again, to love the Lord. He encouraged the nation to believe in the gospel and the word of God. And so my encouragement to you, you're all young men. You're all young men sitting here, and you've been given the job of leadership. And so if in fact we're going to make a difference, if in fact this man has been martyred for the sake of the gospel, but if in fact the Constitution of the United States of America was actually set up according to the Word of God, that God was in fact our Redeemer, and unless we hold on to that truth, unless we hold on to that, this will happen again. And that's why we're here today, is because our nation has let go of that. And so I encourage you, I encourage everyone sitting in this room to think about, how did we get here today? How did we get here today, and what can we do differently? Individually, corporately, what can we do differently? Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have additional public comment? Welcome back. And again, normally we don't do this twice, but if there was any confusion,
okay.
we'll
Well,
make sure to allow this, so we'll give you the full 3 minutes, okay?
To our community leaders here. Really what I see is we have possibly a lack of security in our people that are gonna go up in front of people and talk. There's always gonna be, you know, that chance that is out there, even with security. So as a community leaders, maybe our colleges, our schools, if we need to know, the schools need to know who's gonna be there and things like that, and take some kind of security. And maybe they can only be held inside and be searched to really stop fatalness. Just a suggestion, and I care about the community and everybody.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. I wanted to thank the board for placing yourselves in a position where you take in all this information and you digest it to consider what is good and what is best for the people of this county. And I know you're men of integrity, and I want you to know that I pray for each of you all the time, and that I anticipate that what you do will be good for the county, and that you will consider everything that is necessary, and I'm thankful for it. And just know that there are many people who pray for you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. The only reason I walked up here is because there's always the possibility of taking words and statements made by somebody out of context, and it paints just the opposite perspective on that person that ought to have been, that really exists. And I heard a little while ago Charlie saying, being quoted as saying, you know, I'm more worried about a black pilot than I am whatever else it was. And that's out of context, and I just want to clear that up for the entire room. That statement was made not about the black man or woman or something, but it had to do with DEI policies that we all know have put people in positions of jobs and influence and safety with all of us that weren't really the best person to be there, because they had a past because of their race or for some other reason that didn't deserve them to be in that position. And that was the context of that statement that was made by Charlie. Thank you.
Do we have additional public comment? Good morning.
Morning. Yeah, he's right about the error in quotes. There's also times he's been quoted when he was quoting someone else and then critiqued the statement. There's been things manufactured. I heard one. He never said that certain people have lacked the intellectual horsepower. He named certain individuals. And while those people happen to not be white, I've seen extensive detailed debunking of that because there is video to back it up. He never said what is claimed, what it was reported to say. Supposedly the man is transphobic. Then why is Buck Angel a trans man? Wouldn't come out and say Charlie Kirk was my friend. I thought he was transphobic. Why is Amir Odom come out and say the same thing, talk about how he met him in 2018 and how much he'd helped and how close they were because the man is black and gay. But you don't hear that, do you? You hear things that people lie about, spread the hate, be everything that they claim that the other people are. There's your division. It's time to bring an end to it. Even a nobody like me, I'm mixed race for what it's worth. I know you can't tell. I'm only about 2/3 white. I've been called a racist and a white supremacist. I've got educational certificates and teaching credentials in a non-white language. I'm such a damn racist. I've observed a certain person who doxed me, snooping around my place. It's like a hour round trip when that person lives to mine at 3:30 a.m. After, let's just say it was implied I could catch a bullet in the back. I'm done with pretending, just keeping quiet. Oh, by the way, the guy that smacked Pelosi's husband in the head, I could quote things that he said that could be considered left-wing, but I'm not going to call him on the left because he talked to his invisible bird fairy. The man was nuts. Somebody over here mentioned a couple of politicians getting shot. That guy worked for Tim Walz, claimed that Tim told him to kill him. I don't believe that. But calling him somebody on the right, no, that's your bigoted assumption. Thank you.
Do we have additional public comment? Okay. Sure. Everybody raises their hands right at the last minute or stands up. There we go. Okay. That's why I wait so long on that too. I know some people are thinking about it, so good morning.
Hi, everybody. I've been living in the county since 76 when I got out of the United States Air Force. I was a draftee in Vietnam. I don't want to say much, but here's what I'm going to tell you. If you start honoring people who are considered to have extremist views, whether it's left or if it's right, over other people, you're going to have a big problem in this county because you already do. We've got a lot of folks who've grown up here and never been out of the county. And so all their views are determined by what they know inside their own little families, inside this county, and now by the social media that they attend to. So just be aware that that's what you're dealing with, and that's going to be your legacy. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Oh. Good morning.
Morning. I didn't really come with anything prepared, but as I'm just watching and observing, it's obvious you're all men, and you're put in this position to lead. But you guys really got to look deep inside yourselves as leaders, is what you're called, because you represent us, the people here. And you need to be ahead of what's coming, because this nation's at a turning point. Whether we like it or not, it is. And you as men got to be ready to lead this county. You got to be able to stand up to the state that's throwing stuff at us that's not right, that's evil. And you got to look at yourselves in the mirror when you wake up each and every morning and ask yourself, am I doing what's right, for good or for evil? That's all.
Thank you. All right. Well, seeing no additional public comments, oral communications, we'll close that. And I appreciate everybody for joining us, and I really mean it, for coming to our meeting, for engaging in respectful discourse. We always want to make sure that everybody feels safe to speak here. Ultimately, we are your elected officials for the county. We're small fish in a big pond, but we're here to listen. This is your time, and we're here to do the business of the people. So normally, we would go right into the staff report section. I wanted to open this up if we have comments for the board. I know that yesterday there was a moment given, and the board's okay. I'd like to maybe try to, anybody advising me is going to tell me don't jump into anything like this. It's crazy, right? It's a heated topic. It's a divisive and very difficult thing. It's somebody who's a Democrat that's speaking to probably largely an audience of Republicans, right? But it really transcends that. And I'd like to say, I don't know if you could tell a bit, but I've cried since this because I'm very tearful for my country, that my entire life, it's getting worse in some ways, and it's as a young person who's got a lot of years left on this earth, it seems to be getting that way faster, and I'm really worried about that. Because back in college, as a college Democrat, college Republicans were some of my closest friends, and we respected each other because at least we were folks that all cared. We participated in our society. We worked for candidates. God knows how many hours we put in on whatever we believed, but at loggerheads, working against, maybe canceling each other out. But we did it, and we had way more in common than we had with some of the students who just could not care less about whatever happened to the community. And we know that there's a lot of algorithms. There's a lot of echo chambers. I've come to realize I've had a lot of people call, bipartisan. I don't just represent Democrats, I represent my whole district. I have a lot of friends across those lines that they are getting different information. They are getting different perspectives. They can't understand why people are having the reactions that they're having. I know that we've had attempts with building bridges
Chair,
locally.
if I could just interject, just to remind the board, this is not on the agenda. We recognize this is. an
Council, do
important
we have
topic.
board reports on the agenda?
We do.
Okay, so let's consider this board reports.
Okay.
Thank you. All I wanted to say with it is, I think we have a lot of extreme individuals and extreme comments, and if we judge groups by individuals and we stop talking, then we live in a world full of fear and strangers. And that's not the community that I grew up in or that I represent or that I know. And so we are at a crossroads. This is a moment of time where something violent and horrific has happened, and I think it's a learning opportunity. I think it's a listening opportunity. It's an opportunity for togetherness. And it's on us to reach out and to try and understand this, because I know that I've had also people who are Democrats who have called in tears from some of the hateful comments. You don't have to go far in any thread to find hateful comments from everybody. To see that they are afraid of their safety, for their family, afraid of getting involved or speaking up. And I've heard that from both. So all to close in that is, we have a bipartisan problem, and I hope we come together to solve it. And I want to open that up to any board members that would like to add additional comments on this as well.
This is board reports.
Under
So if
board reports.
members want to report and comment, you have an equal opportunity to do that.
Okay. All right. Supervisor Griefer.
So council, just make sure that we are not I do not want to put us in a situation which could come back and bite us. I know we've already had to speak, but I just want to make sure it's on record.
If I get in trouble, I'll get in trouble.
Well, no, because I'm going to go right down the same rabbit hole. I just want to make sure that I have company.
You've got company.
Okay. All right, with that being said.
You can blame me.
Well, so I wasn't going to say anything. I recognize and I appreciate everything everybody has said. I don't agree with some of the statements, but, you know, as it was stated earlier, this is your God-given right to get up and address us, right? We are men. I do wake up and I make sure that I seek the counsel that I can to make sure that we're doing the right thing. Sometimes I'm going to botch it. We're in a position. So my board report, just make sure I get it on record as such, is the last 48 hours has been, the new platform that we use to communicate, whether you like it or not, is social media. And I really came unhinged on Sunday when a young man that I had just met the night before, who's sitting in this audience, his only crime before getting eviscerated online was saying that he wanted to have a chapter for Charlie Kirk, a Turning Point chapter. He called him white supremacist, called him all sorts of names. And that's where I draw the line. If you're going to attack one, you're going to attack all. And I don't care if you're a member of the Democratic Party. If somebody were to go after my partner here and say those things, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to get hot too. So my board report is this. It is easy to throw stones. It is hard to bite your tongue. And if you know me, whether it's in person or online, I have a very difficult time doing that. I'm very passionate. I believe in our laws. I believe in our government. I believe in everything we do as our society. No matter how bad this country can get, we are still the best country on the face of the planet. We have an opportunity. My board report, just so I want to make sure we're on record here, is that we can do better. I can do better. I won't speak for my partners. We have an opportunity, but now division sometimes has to occur before we can heal. We have to be able to say, we've got a problem. We have to say that there's an issue. So I am just as guilty. I've said this before. You know, my social media account is hot, and I bring it all on myself. It's not like I go out there and I pick fights. And because I don't pick fights just to say I need something to do, because I believe in it. And, you know, I was going to get up and give my 3 minutes as a citizen, but I chose not to because I didn't think it was appropriate, so I do appreciate this time. So before we start hitting that send button, let's think about what we do. You know, somebody told me just the other day, it's easier to write a hateful letter and an angry letter and then shred it and throw it away before sending it. And so maybe that's what I need to do, is delete, delete, delete. And as I have told both sides of all the parties, I will say this now: anytime, anywhere, any subject, wherever you want to meet, I will debate you in the honor of Charlie, whatever that topic is, and I will do that, because discussion is the first and foremost weapon we have against evil. If we can get people together to talk about what bothers us and why I don't like you or why you don't like me, and I can always start it. You guys have heard me say this before. I'm an optimist by nature. I'm a Raiders fan. As you saw the game last night, you know how that goes. But I will gladly meet you anywhere, anytime, and discuss how I feel and how you feel. And as the chair said, I don't represent just Republicans. I don't represent Democrats. This is a nonpartisan position. And outside of that, we all have our rights to exercise our freedom of speech, exercise our beliefs, and exercise our rights just like everyone else. So just because there's a title beside me doesn't mean that I'm not sensitive to one side or the other. I will fight every person. That was poorly phrased. I will fight for every person. I will fight for every person and their rights, regardless of whether I like it or not. So you have my word. I will try to do better. We need to do better. But, you know, there's going to be, I know there's a vigil at Tuolumne City, right, on Sunday. There is a nonpartisan vigil going to be at the courthouse park here on Saturday from 12 to 3. I encourage everybody to come. I am not the host of it, but somehow I became the host of it. So I will make sure that we make sure everybody has their opportunity to come and speak. And again, the best thing you can do is look to your left, look to your right, and just realize we're all in the same boat. This is the greatest country on the planet. There are people dying, literally dying to get into this country for the freedoms that we have. So maybe we can do a little better, say a little less, hug your neighbors, do whatever you need to do, and let's just put all this crap behind us and let's move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisors? And don't feel compelled that we have to. I think, too, we've had some very wise public comments, and I appreciate that have been very thoughtful. And thank you for your words as well.
Well,
Supervisor Kirk?
Quick comment. It's hard to follow Griefer and his enthusiasm. I will simply say, one man in the audience, I think, nailed it today. He said, it's not about what Charlie did or did not stand for. It's what he was killed standing for. So, to the woman in the back, I appreciate you being here. Anybody who does not support him, that's what this is all about. Being able to come in here and voice your opinions. I would love to go out to coffee with you, have a conversation with you, maybe dissect those videos, see where the intent was, see where the breakdown was. I personally have been challenged to reach out to people who I feel, you know, I put a Facebook video out last night. This board was accused of, or some members of this board was accused for standing for hate back when that man was beaten and we were waiting for the investigation to take place. I've reached out to every single one of those people who I think is associated with that. I want to meet with them. One person has returned the phone call, returned the text. I'm committed to conversation. I'm committed to, I have to. My children, I have 4 children, they are watching how I react to this, which is why I was quiet for over a week. Because we have to react properly for our children. I want to tell my kids that I'm going to have coffee with somebody who I think hates me, and I want to be able to come back and say we don't agree, but we can have a conversation moving forward. We have phone numbers. We can communicate when things come up. That's where I'm at. I don't know what leadership means. I mean, or looks like. I'm a human being. I'm a father. I'm a husband. We're trying to get this right. I have my beliefs and how I posture my heart. Everybody has their own path. But like Steve said, people are dying to make it into this country, so it's worth preserving. So please, for the 2 or 3 who really think that Charlie stood for that stuff, and to be honest with you, I haven't done a lot of research into Charlie. But like that man said, he was killed for standing for something, and that's a right that we all have, is to be able to stand up for something and not be killed for it. So please, when this meeting's over, a lot of you, I don't know who you are, but you know how to get a hold of me. Let's go have a conversation. Again, it's not about what he or anybody stood for. It's about not being killed standing for it. Thank you.
All right. So with that, we'll move into the next section of this, looking over the agenda really quick for, that's a really good idea. Let's, we'll adjourn the meeting, and how about let's come back at 10:10. All right, we're reconvening the Board of Supervisors meeting at, there we go, 10:16 on the dot. Thank you for everybody hanging in with us to watch and participate in the rest of the board meeting as well. So we're going to jump back a little bit in the agenda there and move into staff reports. So if any members of our staff have any reports for the Board of Supervisors, please come forward. All right, going once, going twice, not seeing any. All right, so we will close staff reports. I will leave it up to the board if we would like to also give additional reports individually, or we can move into business. Does anybody have any items that we'd like to report out on? Not seeing any. Okay, so with that, we'll move into the consent calendar. Very quickly looking over our agenda today, just for folks in the audience. We've got about 4 items there on consent adopted together. We do have a certificate and a celebration and recognition of a very long-time county employee. I'll save all the praise and everything for a little bit later, and then we'll be moving into closed business at the end. So this may be a little bit more of a shorter meeting after this. So with that, Cole, can you read the consent calendar?
Item number 1, adopting resolution 74-25, acknowledging a report made by Senior Fire Inspector Steve Gregory of the Tuolumne County Fire Department regarding compliance with Health and Safety Code 13146.4. Item number 2, adopting resolution 75-25, proclaiming September 17, 2025 as U.S. Constitution Day and September 17 through 23, 25 as U.S. Constitution Week. Item number 3, approving a retainer agreement with the Wren Public Law Group to provide temporary legal services during the recruitment for county council and authorizing the county council to sign. Item number 4, approving a comment letter to the USDA/USFS in consideration of rescission of the 2001 roadless rule.
Okay, great, thank you. So we'll bring to the board, are there any items that we would like to pull?
I'd like to pull item 2 and just comment on 3.
Okay, is it just a comment for item 2, or?
I can do comment. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just
Okay.
do comment.
All right, so not seeing any items to pull, we'll move into comments. Supervisor Kirk, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, just with the conversation we just had with reports and with the community, just again, the Constitution, America, we're not perfect, but we have it so much better than so many other places in the world. And part of that is because of the First Amendment, to be able to speak without fear of losing your life. And so I just put this back on the agenda. It started a couple years ago, and I just want to just remind this board and our community what these founding fathers and these documents did and how it set the course for basically a new world. So that's my comments for number 2. And then number 3, I did get a lot of folks reaching out saying, hey, this is a lot of money for an attorney. I absolutely agree. So I had our staff pull the numbers for a fully loaded attorney, which is actually a few $1,000s more a month. So it's basically same. But we're not planning on using this person forever. We're opening up a recruiting process. We're trying to get the position filled. But when it comes to money, it's actually potentially a few $1,000s less per month than if we had a fully vested PERS employee with all the loaded benefits. So I just wanted to make that clear to the community because it is a lot of money.
Great, okay. Supervisor Campbell?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to pull, item 3.
Okay,
I'd like to pull that off the consent calendar.
okay. And it's not just a comment on that? Okay. So, I think check with council. Is that fine if we've already kind of gone through the polling period? We can just retroactively pull that? Okay. And we retroactively will pull item 3, so we're just doing comments or questions, or comments rather, on 1, 2, and 4. Supervisor Campbell?
I don't have any, comments.
Okay. Supervisor Griefer?
Thank you, sir. I kind of said what I was going to say during my report for item number 2, but the Constitution is clearly our founding document, and I appreciate Supervisor Kirk putting this on. I think it's something that is so important that needs to definitely be recognized year after year, so the next generation understands where they came from and where we're going. Thank you.
Supervisor Mike? Okay. Yeah, I echo that. Thank you, Supervisor Kirk, for bringing this resolution forward too. I think we probably don't talk enough or I think sufficiently well about the Constitution. It's something that underlies everything that we do. Everybody up here swears an oath to the Constitution to protect and defend it. It is very relevant to the decisions that we make all of the time. And it's an important document because it's not only there for when it's convenient, it was there to guarantee things that were also inconvenient and protections and rights for individuals. And it was, I think, a vision for something that was, I think, imperfectly realized at the time, but has grown and been amazing to realize what its promise was, which was a place that protected individuals and a society of freedom and rule of law. And all of that is something that is extremely precious. So all to say is thank you, and I completely agree for this recognition. I also wanted to put one comment quickly onto item 4. So this is related to the roadless rule. There's a lot of fighting about whether this exists, and you know, being, I think, from a rural area, we have a different perspective. I only wanted to say that I appreciate the staff pulling this resolution and comment letter basically together, because what it's saying is we should have a thoughtful process when it comes to the roads in our forest, because it is access for industry, it's also access for recreation, it's also access for potential safety or myriad of other things, and these roads have really fallen apart for a long time. I don't think we want to turn the forest into a highway, but at the same point, this type of access, there's a middle ground there where a responsible framework is something to be celebrated. Hard rules that do not allow anything to happen either way generally don't work well. So I think this balances that really well. Okay, so with that, on items 1, 2, and 4, I'll be looking for a motion.
I think we need public comment.
Oh, except we will be doing public comment on that. Thank you. And sometimes the meeting throws off a little bit. Open it up for public comment on items 1, 2, and 4. Sheriff, good morning.
Morning, Chair. Morning, Board, County Administration. Dave Vasquez, Sheriff of Tuolumne County. Just want to speak briefly about the resolution for the Constitution. I would be remiss to take this opportunity to not display my gratitude for all the comments and everything that we heard during public comment. I think it speaks directly to the very meaning of what this resolution is. It was a lot of things that I was thinking about as I'm standing in the back of the room watching all of the people of this county come up and share their opinions and their feelings and their beliefs, and sometimes a combination of all of them and not all of them aligning. And I thought how beautiful that was, that we live in America and that we are protected. Mm-hmm. I chose to be still during that portion of this meeting because I was letting the people's voice be the representation that essentially is their sheriff's voice. But for the Constitution portion of this, in this consent calendar, it's important that people know that their sheriff's office is unwavering in our devotion to duty and how we will protect this county. And that regardless of whatever else is happening in the nation, in the state, outside of here, we have to be aware of it. We have to live our lives according to however we're metabolizing and cycling through those feelings. But we get to determine how we live in Tuolumne County. And we are a family, and we are a tight-knit community. And I think that is the strength that will carry us through. And so I just wanted to say, under that very blanket of the Constitution that protects everybody equally in this county, we will remain always faithful to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. All right, is there any additional comment on these items? All right, seeing none, we'll close comment, and now I will be looking for, oh, there we go. Welcome back.
Hi, Erin Ross. I just wanted to say thank you for the Constitution resolution. I think it's wonderful. I only had a question when I read it. It looked like it was just for this year and it's not ongoing. And I would love to see it happen every year. I think that's an important thing to honor. So wanted to say that. And I also wanted to acknowledge the letter about the roadless rule. I think it's great. And I really want to encourage you all to be a lot more stern or pointed. It sounds a little soft to me, and we have an administration at the national level, I think, that needs to hear things very, very clearly. And I would strongly encourage you all to be more specific and also a little stronger in your language to the U.S. Forest Service, because we need all the help we can get. Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, do we have any additional comment? We'll do the countdown this time. 3, 2, 1. Okay. So we'll close public comment on that. I had a motion by Supervisor Kirk, a second by Supervisor Griefer. Supervisor Griefer, there we go.
Yes.
Great. All those in favor, items 1, 2, and 4, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, abstaining, passes unanimously. We did read it already, but let's read it again for good measure. Cole, if we can read item 3, please.
Item number 3, approving a retainer agreement with a Wren Public Law Group to provide temporary legal services during the recruitment for county council and authorizing county council to sign.
Okay. So with that pulled by Supervisor Campbell, will you lead us off?
Yes, I have a question. So we're paying $22,000 a month for this contract, right?
Correct, for up to 60 hours of work for the firm, and anything above that would be billed hourly.
So that is not equivalent to a full-time staff member, right?
No,
Because
no.
we're talking about 15 hours a week and not a full 40-hour work week or a not designated. I mean, you can probably attest to this, that our attorneys work more than 40 hours a week typically.
Absolutely, and this covers the critical duties that Ms. Carrillo was providing, covering board meetings, advising the county administrator, human resources, up to that flat rate. Hopefully, we keep it to that flat rate hours. And again, it's short-term during recruitment.
So just to be clear, this is significantly more expensive than hiring a full-time benefited staff member for the same number of hours.
It is. Again, it's a private firm. It's, as the DA commented yesterday, it's difficult to find attorneys with the specialization to come practice in this area. We consulted several firms and private practitioners, and we had little response. This was the most economical one we got.
So we did fly the position to replace our county counsel?
For the recruitment, yes. HR has flown the position.
And you kind of stated, how many responses did we get?
0.
Okay.
At this time.
So my reason for pulling this is that we're at this point where we are continually sweeping under the rug this severe staffing issue we have in the county. We can't get an attorney to work at our county counsel's office for, what was it, 200, for a significant amount of money. They won't even take that because they don't want to work in this county because of the atmosphere that's been created. And so what I think the taxpayer needs to know about that is that, hold on. What the taxpayer needs to know is that because this board has created such a hostile environment to our employees, you, the taxpayer, are now having to pay 3 to 4 times as much for the same amount of legal services because the only people that will do it are contractors. And that is why I'm voting against this, this contract, not because I don't think we need it, but because I think it's our own action as a board that has led to this significant waste of money.
Okay. Supervisor Kirk?
Yes, in the spirit of free speech, I appreciate you letting me respond to that and not interrupting me when I do so, as I didn't to you.
Tried to interrupt.
Ryan.
Supervisor Kirk?
We are politicizing, we're using this as an opportunity to politicize overdue changes that were needed within Tuolumne County government and bureaucracy. You know, just as well as I do, after 6 years of doing this, when we go to CSAC, RCRC, NACO, every single county, almost every single jurisdiction is facing exactly what we're facing with shortages. That's why we've done teleworking. That's why we've been working on giving raises to departments. I know sheriff's, was one of the bigger ones. We know that we're having to contract out plans within the permit system because nobody also applies for plans examiner. It's across the board. And for you to make it that it's because of a new political atmosphere since January, I find it interesting when you have so much history with this organization and you know the full story. So it's kind of like a perfect example of how you're taking this and you're making this out of it. I do appreciate your perspective. I disagree. I think a lot of the people in the organization disagree with you. And I think really what it comes down to is wages. That is why we are losing folks. Does the current atmosphere play a part in it? Absolutely. Some people are being held accountable. Some people are choosing to leave. Some people are leaving because the private sector is paying better. So ask any county. It's hard to find attorneys anywhere. Ask the private sector. I have many friends who are attorneys. Most attorneys coming out of law school just want to do easy law. Nobody wants to do anything that requires hard lifting. So this is a new era, not just for Tuolumne County. It's been like this for years, but it's also for basically every jurisdiction in California. So that is my perspective, and thank you for letting me share it.
Okay, and I only want to jump in because I know we've had, and I appreciate it, and I want everybody to have the ability to speak their mind on it. I only want to ask that this not become, because this is heated, and I think it's fair to bring up a criticism of what our board may be in that and to defend too on what that position is. I don't want this to devolve into a fight. So I know it's not, but I don't want it to devolve into one. So if it's okay, I'd like to offer any new comments. You had mentioned too, I know you mentioned my name, to bring it back then as well for the first kind of after that. Is that Divine?
I didn't understand.
I was going to offer the comment, everybody to be able to have one if you wanted to then be the first one after that to basically respond since you were mentioned. Okay. Supervisor Griefer?
Well, I disagree with my compadres here. So I just did a quick thing on California Transparency in 2024. Sorry, Sarah. The information out there regarding her salary was $216,756. If you divide that by 12, that comes out to $18,000 ish. I'm rounding down, or rounding. 22,000 is not significantly more than what. Yes, it's 4,000, and I understand. I can already see the bubbles forming above the head for your comment. I get it. Right, what you're going to say is what we were getting for her for that amount versus what we're getting for that amount. We're only getting X number of hours versus a full-time employee. I get what you're saying. But I really want to push back on the fact that this board did not create a hostile work environment. If that were the case, that opens, for that statement to be made, opens us up to a ton of legal potential, right? People saying, oh, you created a hostile work environment, which is why I left. Ms. Carrillo, God bless all the work that she's done and her, guidance of me as being new to this role. She left because of her own reasons. She never said it was a hostile work environment. She went to go and, if I understand, to spend time with her family, to telecommute, right? There are other corporations and other organizations that are using different ways to recruit and attract new employees, regardless of what their job is. And she took it, right? God bless her. She should go spend all the time she can with her family. And if she can telecommute and not have to deal with traffic, I'm all for that. So to say that we created a hostile work environment is absolutely an incorrect statement. I do not agree with that. I will not agree with that because if I remember correctly, sir, you were with us all the way through. So, and if we want to bring up No, you were with us, this board. Now, you could say you voted no on certain things or what have you. I know this is not what you wanted, but if you're gonna accuse me of creating or being part of a hostile work environment, I will dig in and say you are absolutely incorrect. I know you didn't agree with certain things. I don't agree with certain things, but to lump us in that group is not right, nor is it fair. We heard yesterday from the district attorney that it's not just we not finding someone. There's no one out there. There's no one on the shelf that wants to come and work for us. It's not because Tuolumne County is a horrible place to work. There's just nobody out there. There's no attorneys out there. And by the way, we talked to our own internal staff to see if they wanted to take the role, and because they don't have enough staff right now to do that, they didn't want to do that. And I respect that. I totally respect that. So for you to come out and make this a statement of, oh, well, we're the evil empire here, we're crushing hopes and dreams. I'm paraphrasing, those are not your words, those are mine, right? But that's how it came out, right? It's just not right. The reality is, we sat around a table, we discussed this, we accepted that this is the best of the bad decisions we have out there. So let's accept it and let's continue our mission, as I stated yesterday. Thank you.
I need to
And-
just add
Yes.
some information to that. Sarah's weighted rate monthly is approximately $26,200. So this would come under that. And just to clarify our office, we have 4 attorneys. Of course, we're losing Sarah, who handled the board meetings, CAO, HR primarily. The rest of us 3 attorneys have our own specialties, and we are covering mandated services, appearing in court, and it would be very difficult for us to carry out all the functions that are required with 3 attorneys, and serve your board, particularly during a local emergency. So that is a big concern. And the purpose of this agreement is so we can bridge that gap through these months where we're recruiting, and not make an unworkable situation for our office and attorneys.
Counsel, thank you. Okay. This is not I'll hold my actual comment till after you've had a chance to respond. To say, again, appreciate it. I know it's sometimes hard words. I don't want to jump in while we're able to disagree effectively. But I'll say that as chair, if you reference another board member, I'm going to give him a chance to respond. And so as a disincentive, and this isn't you specifically,
Oh, I understand.
but hopefully, because it can go back and forth forever, what I'm hoping is we all are able to speak our piece. There was a specific reference there. I think you're entitled to be able to respond. I'll have my comments as that too. This certainly could continue for a lot longer, but I hope we'll be able to then move into a vote. So with that, Supervisor Campbell?
Yeah, I mean, some of the things I've heard, it's just denial. It's denial, and we will never get past this situation until we recognize it for what it is. Right now, we're down CAO, we're down a Parks and Rec director, we're down a county council, we're down a community development director. This is not normal, and this is not a normal part of business for counties. Yes, it is hard to hire professional level staff, and it has been for quite some time, but it's not impossible. It's impossible for us. Nobody wants to work here. And until this board recognizes its role in creating that situation, I wouldn't term it a hostile work environment because there is a legal definition to that. What I'm saying is the board is hostile to public employees, to the role and the service that public servants provide to our community. And the fact that we've created this environment is costing taxpayers more money. This contract, that's kind of why I wanted to pull this, just because I heard it stated that this was status quo, and it is absolutely not. We're talking $22,000 a month for 60 hours. That's 15 hours a week. That is nowhere near a full-time staffer, and we are paying a significant amount of money for that. And until we resolve the underlying issue, we will have to renew this contract again in a few months, and then we'll have to renew it again, and we'll have to do the same with CDD or have our CAO fill. Maybe our CAO could be county council too. We could give them another job. You know, until we resolve the underlying issue, we're never going to get out of this.
Okay, and my
Well,
comments
wait a
on
second.
this,
You-
wait,
no,
I haven't had
sir.
my comments
So, no,
yet, though.
he said this board. I am
Sup-
a member of this board. I did not create a hostile. I
Supervisor, he didn't reference you specifically, it was
He
just a
reckon-
response.
He referenced this board. If you're
Alright.
going to allow a debate.
No,
then-
I'm not disallowing it. I'd like to be able to speak, as I've kind of offered everybody, and then I
Well, but
will
that's-
ask you
that's
if
the
you'd
problem,
like
sir.
to respond.
That's the problem, is that if you're going to allow him to respond, and then he's going to make a statement that this board, I'm a member of this board, just
Mm-hmm.
as the others, I don't agree on the face of what Supervisor Campbell's trying to establish. I get it. I just don't think this is the right forum for that.
Mm-hmm.
If Supervisor Campbell believes that this board has created an environment where we are pushing people out of here and nobody. And
So
that
what
no-
I'm asking is if I can make my comments onto it, and then I will call in you to be able to add to that discussion. Ultimately, it's
How
not
about I just
calling
finish
the,
my thought, and then
it's
you
not
can-
calling
you
the
can-
question.
Just let him finish.
Okay.
How about you just let me finish? Okay, my point is this. I don't have an issue with what Supervisor Campbell's saying, right? If it was a perfect world, what he's saying is correct, right? It's a lot of money for what we're getting. I understand that. But to use the platform that this board has created, this situation, is not fair to this board, nor is it truthful to the public. If he wants to have a debate, if he wants to have a statement, if he wants to make a comment that he believes that the reason we're in this mess is because of whatever reason, that's fine. It has nothing to do with this contract. This contract says we need legal service. If he doesn't want to vote for it, then don't vote for it. But if you want to have a discussion about why we're here, I am gladly willing to step up and say, I will debate you anywhere, anytime on how we got here.
All right,
Thank you.
and see, this is the issue, is
All right.
because, but if you,
I'll end here, is that this contract is a symptom of the sickness that we have in the county right now. That's why I'm bringing it up now.
so what I wanted to share was, I think I recognize where Supervisor Campbell is coming at, that I think I take as a sign that we've had 0 applications for it, and there are other positions with it. Not just this one is concerning. Number one is to be appreciative of who we have. We have our next item coming up to talk about that recognition of just the immense value Sarah's brought as county council. And for me, when I first started on the board too, working over that period, all to say is, I know online there's a lot of, well, this person's paid a ton of money, and let's use this as a perfect case study to hire the level of skill and competency that we need to run some of these things, because it is very complicated. Despite Facebook comment threads thinking it's just very simple, it's very legally complicated. There's huge stakes. If we get sued and lose, it is all of our money. We're fiduciaries in that way. It's not like I lose or he loses. I mean, it's all of us. We represent the people of the county. That we should be appreciative of the skill sets that we have. I don't think we always have been. I think what you're getting at does extend even to the past 4 years, though. We've had some shakiness. I think it's hard where we see not a very united Board of Supervisors into it, and I don't think this changed in January. I think some changes did make it different, but it was similar in some other ways. So, and then ultimately, what is one of the big preferences we're always working against? We are more rural, and our pay is often lower. So that's what I wanted to add to it, is I do see this as a temporary, necessary measure that I will be supporting because we have to, but it sucks. I would rather hire that skill set at a full-time level, paying less, but paying that person maybe more than we pay now. And this is some of the hard decisions we have to deal with, because there are a lot of people that make $40,000 a year or $60,000 as a household in the county, and they say, why the hell is this person making $260,000 all loaded together? And it's like, because we're in a market system, and that person can walk with their feet to another area and make more money, and there's people headhunting all the time to try and get that, and they stay here because they love the people and they love the work and their kids are in the school, and we need to be appreciative of that. If we can't be the top payee, we can at least be the top employer in environment and appreciative. So I take that as a challenge, because I know that last 4 years certainly had a role in my own part of that, that people do watch what we do as a board. At least that's what I took out of it, is not so much a blame, but a recognition that we're like what we had yesterday. There was lots of, people watch our meetings, and it wasn't that any of those things were incorrect. It was an important discussion, but it does. If I was an employee in a department that was getting debated about how many positions would be reduced or all of that, it's really shaky. I mean, I would think about whether I would want to work there or not too. So I think there's just a good a good recognition that we have a problem to solve. It's not a new problem, it's just a new version of that because some of the people have changed and conditions. So anyway, Supervisor Holland.
So I was going to stay out of this argument, but why not? So forget all this other stuff. Ryan's correct on that it's more per hour. It's a mathematically correct thing. But what we're failing is you can vote no on it, absolutely. But what you just said to our other attorneys is we don't value your time. We're going to dump more workload on you. Just like yesterday, I changed my vote and thought about it because our staff said we need some help. We're a little short here. There was a department head meeting, and Kanan and Karen said, I need some help in these two positions. The rest of the departments didn't come up and say, well, yeah, we want a bunch of staff. They said, we realized we're short. We made the cuts and we need to make these adjustments. Not because we want more staff. This is the exact same thing. You can vote no for it, but what you're saying is, guess what, Mr. Schmidt, you got more work to do. So go from 60 hours to 80 hours a week. I don't think they're asking for an attorney just to have us spend money. It's because they're asking we need you some essential functions covered for whatever reason. If no one had ever left and just Sarah had just decided to leave, we'd still be in the exact same boat right now, making the exact same decision at this moment in time. So no vote to me says we're not valuing the rest of our attorneys' time and they're asking for some help and we need to help them to cover some stuff. That's my opinion.
All right. I know we're having a discussion. If we want to have more comments onto it, we can. Otherwise, I'd be looking for a motion.
I don't want to do
Supervisor
the
Kirk?
back and forth. I just want to say I'm sorry for my
I don't know if we
math.
did public
I'm sorry for my
comment.
math error. I guess if I would have done my math
Thank
right,
you.
it wouldn't have been pulled, but I didn't realize the 60, it escaped my mind. So I'm sorry for being off with my math.
Yeah, no worries. And I was just calculating that. I mean, Chris, maybe you can weigh in. It was 160, a roughly full-time employee for about, you said loaded 300,000 total or weighted? And then this is 60 for 250.
At work, on my 998, I see 168, and I saw 60. I just didn't put the one in front of it, so.
Okay, great. So with that, we'll open up public comment on this item. If there's any members of the public that would like to speak. As always, too, if you're curious, what are we talking about? Where are these numbers or anything coming from? Please check out our agendas online. They have links. You can see the whole document. It's the same documents most of the time that we get. So welcome back.
Thank you. I apologize for the last. I wanted that woman to get up and talk about what she wanted to talk about, and then she didn't do it. So
It's okay.
I ended up being wrong in the long run.
Thank you for being an advocate.
You're having this discussion in front of her mother. And based on what I saw yesterday, you're an embarrassment to many people in this county and how unprofessional you behave up there. And I have stood at this podium many times and said, I don't know who's going to want to come and work for you if they watch these meetings. And watching all that bickering yesterday was just disgusting. And I did see Al Rogers last week, and I had a long chat with him. And people don't want to work for you. You're not getting applications for these positions. And a couple of you are running around the community all puffed up because you're so excited that you've managed to kind of destroy something that you were angry at. And you're supposed to be public servants and serving our best interest. But you're not serving, you're steering. And you're steering us in the wrong direction. And now you have made life very difficult, not only for your employees, but also for your citizens, because I'm going to have to pay for all this bullshit that you've caused. And I find it very disturbing when I go into departments in this county and the employees are crying because the morale is so bad. So take a good look in the mirror.
Great. Thank you for your comments. Do we have additional public comment on this item? Welcome back.
This is my first time here. I've been in here for 5 years in Tuolumne County, and I love Tuolumne County. And our community here, representatives, are so important to all of us, as we all know. And we come to you, like she said, because you represent the community's choices to make it better here for living, schooling, everything, everything. And when you don't agree with one another, which will happen, and there's always debating, which you all know this, but when you do it in front of us, obviously, like she said, it's embarrassing, and it's darn right childish in a way, because you are for we the people of the United States, our Constitution, which you talked about, which would be lovely painted right there on that wall behind Mike. And you all know that. So there's something in here that's evil, because we talked about evil and all that. And I know you guys all respect one another, because you wouldn't be here in your positions. So, you know, stand up and back up each other and figure it out. You know, come to an agreement for we, all of us, the people, because nobody wants to hear that kind of truth. And we're all taxpayers, and we all want it, and Tom McClintock and all that, you know. We're all in this together, no matter if we're Democrat or Republican. We all pay taxes, and we all have to work together. So God bless you all, and I didn't like seeing this. You guys got to get over your testosterone. God bless y'all.
Thank you.
As far as the lawyer,
And
how come? I know, but this is important
I
because.
believe, well, we have to hold it to the 3 minutes.
Okay.
If it was a continuance, I
But
believe it
seek
hit the
out.
3 minutes, though, did
There are
it?
people that would take this job. You're just not getting the right resources.
Yeah. Thank you. And again, that's not trying to be overly strict. We have to follow it's part of the law, fair treatment with it, so thank you. All right, is there any additional public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board. I'll be looking for a motion, but before that, I only want to say one thing. I've been trying to practice. I watched your video, Supervisor Kirk, too, and I appreciate what you were talking about of meeting with folks that are of different opinions, actively seeking that. One thing that I've been trying to work on, too, is practicing good intent, that we may disagree, but trying to assume that somebody on everything, even if it's harsh sounding, is coming from a place of good. So I know that I'm trying to do a much better job myself of that at the board. Roger?
I thought I should say something before you make your motion and vote today. I got an update.
You don't
from
want to
Karen.
be county council as well?
I do not want to be county council as well. I did joke with Sarah, telling her I was going to go back to law school, but that was a joke. I did get an update from HR this morning while we were having this conversation. I did want to let you know we did get one application for that position. Also wanted to let you know that our HR director plans on coming to the board in October to have a conversation, I think directly related to what we're talking about here about recruitment challenges and, you know, our staffing and other aspects of what's going on in the county right now. I think part of that conversation also is what's happening throughout California and other counties and other jurisdictions. Just recently returned from a conference, and she had a lot of information related to very similar challenges throughout the entire state. So she intends to come in October to do a presentation for the board related to those items.
Great, thank you. Anybody remember that 85th rule on roads, and we were trying to, they had to increase the speed on Jamestown Road? And they said, well, we legally have to do this, and I know that I voted against that because I'm like, well, I don't care, it's dumb. I know that sometimes we also take votes about bringing up issues, and I appreciate that with this space. So all that said, I'll be looking for a motion to be able to move forward on item 3.
I'll make a motion, we approve the contract.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first by Supervisor Holland. We have a second by Supervisor Kirk. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed?
No.
And abstaining? All right, it passes 4-1-0 with Supervisor Campbell in nay. Okay, so with that, it's 10:54. We just passed through consent calendar. We're doing good. All right, do we need any moment to set up I hear that we have a cake and some fireworks and pyrotechnics.
I don't believe so.
No? The marching band is ready though, right?
We don't sing
Okay,
for attorneys.
great. Well, if the clerk can read. Joke is, we have a lot of introverts on our staff too, so we make it very hard as, I don't know, we're kind of rowdy. So, all right, if, Nicole, can you read item 5, please? And I think we're gonna need somebody closer to the front of the room as well. I see her in the farthest back.
Item number 5, consideration of approving a certificate of recognition for Sarah Carrillo, County Council, and her over 21 years of public service to the County of Tuolumne.
All right. Roger, you coming to the podium? Great.
I prepared a very, very long, lengthy speech, and I did what someone had suggested. I tore it up and then threw it away. I just want to say a couple of things. I've only had the pleasure of working as closely with Sarah in the last 8 months. However, I've worked with her for the last 6 years, over 6 years, and have never had a bad experience. The one thing I realized the other day when Sarah told me she was leaving is I didn't recognize that Sarah is our county counselor and not our counselor. And I think that in a lot of cases, I've leveraged her experience and her knowledge and her ability to keep me level-headed and keep me pointed in the right direction. And I'm very grateful for that opportunity and the time that I've got to spend working with her. And I'm not looking forward to Monday. It's going to be a very big challenge. My new counselor doesn't seem to be as open to counseling, so I'm going to have to figure something else out. But I really, really do wish her the best. I know she's got some great opportunities, great skill set. She could go anywhere and do a great job. And so with that, I will turn it over to anyone else who would like to say a few things.
Oh, I would. Like it. This is tough for our office because we've worked together so long. Our little team is like a family. It feels like a family. Usually, we'd have funny or embarrassing stories, in situations like this. But as it's been a constant through the years, Sarah seems to avoid embarrassing situations or funny situations, at least in my experience. I don't avoid those myself, but Sarah does. So she kind of robs me of that today. But I did read the certificate, and working with her so long, I can attest that everything in there is very true. And I'd just like to mention a couple more things. And one is her caring attitude towards the team. She's always had an open door for us. And she's always had an open mind to do new ideas. And this job can be stressful and difficult, but she always seems to find the levity in the situation. So I'm sure we've all heard her laugh in the hallways and offices, and we'll miss that. It's been a privilege working with her. So I wish you the best in private practice.
And I know this is it's a bit of a non-traditional item. I think we should open up public comment for members to be able to come forward and speak, and then we'll bring it back to the board if that's okay. Okay, so open it up for anybody who would like to speak, and if you don't mind coming forward and lining up, that'd be great. Good morning.
I guess I'll start off. You all know who I am, but for the benefit of the public, my name is Cody Nesper. I'm a deputy county counsel. I've been under Sarah's leadership for nearly 11 years. And over that time, I've had the privilege of witnessing firsthand Sarah work tirelessly to ensure the county provides the best possible services to the public and operates ethically and in compliance with the law. As my boss, Sarah has reliably encouraged me to bring my best efforts to my work with firm yet fair oversight and consistently high standards for the legal support that our office provides. Sarah also has brought, as Chris mentioned, a lot of humor and levity to our office, even when times are tough. It's not unusual to hear her laughter reverberating through our office. I started with this office as a brand-new attorney in 2014, and I have learned a lot from Sarah over the past 11 years. Simply put, I would not be the attorney I am today without her guidance and mentorship. The county has been very fortunate to have her leading the county council's office, and her departure will leave a void that will be very difficult to fill. So I fully support this resolution, and thank you, Sarah.
I did write something. I was afraid I was going to cry otherwise. So, good morning, Chair and board members. My name is Cheryl Deaver, and I've had the privilege of serving as Executive Assistant to the County Council, Sarah Creel, for the past 4 years. I wanted to take a moment to thank Sarah publicly for her incredible mark that she has left on Tuolumne County during her 21 years of service. To me, she has been far more than just a supervisor. She has been a mentor, a role model, and someone I hold at the highest regard. Sarah is one of the strongest people that I know. She stands firmly on her values, and her integrity guides everything that she does. Through her leadership, she has shown all of us what it truly means to serve with honesty, courage, and conviction. On a personal level, Sarah encouraged and supported me. Support on me has made a lasting impression. She inspired me to return to school and pursue my goals, and in doing so, she gave me the confidence to grow, not only professionally, but personally as well. Because of her guidance, I am a stronger and more confident person today. While I am truly excited for Sarah on her new adventures that lie ahead, there is no denying that the county is losing someone exceptional. Her dedication, her wisdom, and her compassion will continue to live on through the many people that she's mentored, supported, and inspired along the way. Sarah, thank you for your leadership, for your encouragement, and for your unwavering example. You will be deeply missed, and you will be greatly celebrated.
My name is Catherine Clem. I'm Deputy County Counsel, and I've been with the office for nearly 3 years. I want to keep this brief, but I want to thank Sarah for her dedication in her many years in the County Counsel's office. I want to thank her for her mentorship to me as a young attorney, starting out having only 4 years out of law school at this point, for her leadership during the lighter moments and the harder and more intense things that our office has had to go through, and for her unwavering integrity through it all. And I wish her the best in this next stage of her career.
Hi, Carlin Dribdell, former Deputy County Counsel. I worked with Sarah for 12 years. When the board at the time was looking to hire a new county counsel, I also applied, and I would have been fabulous at that job. I would have been great. Yeah, I know. I've already been asked. I'm unfortunately not that application. However, the board at the time and every board that has renewed her contract made the right call, because Sarah is, as amazing as I am, Sarah is incredible, and I learned so much. She is older than me. I know. But her integrity and how she saw the role of county council for this county was inspirational. Our role as county council is to support your board and bring forth your vision through the law. And she did that every single day. She thought about it. We talked about it as an office. It was a constant reminder of what county council's role is for the county. And she performed beautifully. And so, even though I am no longer with the office, it makes me very sad to think that Sarah will no longer be the county council. Because as a taxpayer and a voter and a resident of Tuolumne County, I know what an amazing resource we had. And the county council's office, beyond Sarah, is an incredible staff, and you are very lucky. So with that, I too wish Sarah the best in all that she does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Tammy Mariscal, Behavioral Health. Prior to Sarah taking county council, we had the support of Mr. Oliver. It wasn't until Sarah took over county council where behavioral health really felt that our council understood our business and that we were in great hands. It's a really bittersweet day or week in that I'm losing a mentor. I did not have the pleasure of meeting or working directly with Sarah only up until recent. And so I am disheartened that I won't quite have the opportunity to grow and learn more from you, Sarah Jean Correa. Good luck. I wish you luck in all your endeavors, Sarah, and I hope our future AB 123 law and ethics trainings are as exciting and as fun as you've made them in the past. I know they're only required every 3 years, but I buy a ticket every year. So I know that Chris and others that you leave behind will continue to entertain us. And with that, good luck, and I love you.
Does anybody else have Let's Get Ethical song in their head? For those who know, you know. Carlin, I think. Well, good morning, Annie Hockett, Health and Human Services Agency Director. I'm here just to express my gratitude to you, Sarah. I don't like that you're sitting behind me, but maybe that's better so we don't choke each other up. I remember the first day of meeting Sarah. It was in the Washington courthouse after a child welfare calendar, and our attorney at the time, Kim Knowles, introduced me to Sarah. And it was shortly thereafter that Kim announced that she was gonna be doing a different assignment, and I remember being panicked, going, there's no way. How are we gonna replace Kim? Clearly, I had nothing to worry about as we sit here and celebrate 21 years of Sarah's service to Tuolumne County. I was kind of just reflecting back on my time getting to work with her. One of my favorite moments is we did a training for child welfare staff many years ago. And it was kind of on a boring topic. And so we were trying to make it fun. My slides were super boring. Sarah had quotes from Legally Blonde and videos from that, and I just remember the whole staff was just rolling with laughter, but still learning at the same time. So it was one of my favorite memories, and it made me go watch that movie that I hadn't seen in a long time. What I've always appreciated about you, Sarah, is just your approachability. Your ability to break things down in ways that us non-legal folks can understand. And I just feel it's a huge loss for our whole county. But I'm very excited for you. To quote Elle Woods, "It is with passion, courage of conviction, and a strong sense of self that we take our next step into the world." So I just am excited for Sarah on this new chapter. Just want to acknowledge all she's given to Tuolumne County. It's with much gratitude for hanging in there with us, and I wish you the very best of luck.
Everybody wants the dramatic walk-up, too. I know. Nobody likes lines.
Hey, aside from the dramatic walk-up, Legally Blonde does happen to be one of my favorites. However, I'm not going to quote it today. Thank you for being my lawyer. A lot of people think county council and all the things with the board meetings, everything else, but Sarah and I have gone into battle on a lot of things that have been very personal for me and also professional in this line of work. Sometimes we are called to do the people's business, and sometimes that results in civil trial. Sometimes it results in arbitration. Sometimes even when you do everything right, you're still subject to that process. And when the circle gets really, really small and you oftentimes feel all alone, you want a good lawyer. And so thank you for that. I have been through all of those things that I just talked about, and I can tell you right now that in my time in Tuolumne County, which is almost 16 years, performing peace officer duties, Sarah has always conducted herself with the highest level of professionalism and just that esprit de corps that comes with what it means to protect a county. And what a fine line that is to walk, because I've seen it both hands. I've seen it as a deputy, I've seen it as a lieutenant, a sergeant, captain, now sheriff, that just there's so many hats that you have to wear to defend and protect this county as a whole from the liability that is just nipping at the heels constantly. And I will take credit that it's probably my office that is giving her probably the most entertaining things that she's had to deal with, and it has been robust in the workload. But again, last year, the board chamber had awarded me the Excellence in Governance Award, and I will tell you that when they did that, I thought, how on earth did I get this over Sarah Carrillo? And I really felt that way because of all the things that, how I had gotten to observe her level of professionalism and how much work she does for this county. And so if I was gonna lose to anybody, that was the one where I was like, guaranteed this is shit, Sarah's got this shoe in. But again, I can't express the level of gratitude that I have for what she has done for our office, what she's done for the county. This last year and change has been very dynamic for me as the sheriff. And all the concerns and questions that I've ever had, I could always rely on my county council to give me the appropriate level of guidance. And like somebody much wiser than me once said, the only way out is through. And I think we're getting there. And I'll tell you right now that I can attest that I have not just my command staff, but I'm so grateful for my county council. I don't know that we would be where we were at without her. So I just want to say, Sarah, thank you. I get all the reasons why you're leaving. I haven't fully accepted it yet. I still don't. There's still time, approximately 3 seconds to change your mind. So anyways, thank you. Appreciate it.
Morning, Board. I've worked with Sarah and her team for the 13 and a half years that I've been here. A lot with Carlin in the beginning and then with Cody. But after that road project that we shall not name, Sarah and I became very close. And as a department head, we've continued to work closely together. Her leaving is going to leave a huge hole at this county. She's been a great asset, and she will be very missed. And I wish you nothing but luck in your new endeavors. Thank you.
Tired. Sarah, I'm very sad you're leaving, but I'm very grateful for the time and nearly 10 years we've worked together, and your mentorship and your guidance. Yeah, we similarly have been through a lot together, and just working for the county, and I'm appreciative that we share the same sort of passion for the public and for this work, and it's very tiring at times, but one of the cool things about Sarah that you probably don't realize is she was really great, is really great at like helping recenter and refocus the purpose of why we do what we do, particularly in like the CAO office worlds. Like we can get really bogged down, like specifically on some of the internal drama, and to be honest, some of the stuff the last handful of months. And Sarah is always so great at reminding us about you all and the pressure that you all face, specifically from the public and your constituents, and reminding us that it's our job to support you in trying to support the public. And I'm really grateful for that reminder. consistently, because like I said, we can get distracted by, just the drama. Yeah, I'm gonna miss a lot of that, like the recentering and just the reminders, and yeah, I'm really grateful for the friendship, and yeah.
Open it up if we have any additional comments. I also heard that Sarah's mom is in the audience and may have some juicy stories to tell us. Heather?
She's a good mom. So as your clerk, I typically try and remain impartial with everything, but with Sarah, I am quite partial. She has been amazing. She has helped guide me to make the right decisions, at least the best decision possible and available at all times. And when I have made mistakes, which I can admit, she has been there to help me fix that and make things right and do the right thing at all times. And to have her guidance in a time where I had a lot of learning to do gave me the confidence to do this job and support your board and do the right thing, or at least the best option at all times. And I will always be thankful for that and for her.
Mom, you sure? Okay. It's a very well-advised legal answer you gave too. So with that, we will close comment. I don't know why I'm turning off my comment. We'll close comment on that and bring it back to the board. I think we're in a convenient order here of folks who have worked for a very long time with Sarah. I'm not calling you old. And some of the new folks who have been able to work with her this year. So Supervisor Kirk, would you like to lead us off?
Sure. I've said this before. I usually close myself off to employees because when I got elected, I knew that there may be sunshiny days and there may be hard days where hard decisions have to make. And I don't want to be close with people for when those hard decisions have to be made. And I've done a pretty good job of that. But with Sarah, you can't help but smile and hug her because she's just that type of person. The sheriff said that, sometimes we walk fine lines, and I always would challenge those lines with Sarah and try and push the lines and break the lines, and I'd tease her. Once I felt comfortable enough of making fun of her and teasing her, I would push those lines. And she was probably one of the earliest employees that I was able to feel comfortable with just because of her personality. And we didn't always agree, but I loved I could go in your office and shut the door and tell you how I felt, and we could have good conversations. And I have a lot of respect for you for that. And I'm glad I was able to get there with you. And I'm going to miss that. I really am, Sarah. And I wish you the best of luck with your beautiful child and your family. We may never know all the reasons why you're leaving, but I know for you it's the best for you. And gonna miss you. All right? All right.
Supervisor Campbell?
Thank you, Chairman. I have many embarrassing stories that I could tell about Sarah. Unfortunately, they are all protected by attorney-client privilege.
That NDA you signed.
And so I can't go into those. But what I will say is that Sarah Carrillo is one of the best attorneys that I've ever known, and I've known quite a few. I am so grateful to have had the opportunity to work with you. I've known you for probably the past 10 years, and there are very few people that I've ever met that have been more dedicated to this community than you. One of the things that I appreciated about you the most as a supervisor is that I could always tell you what crazy idea I had, and usually the response would be, "You can't do that, Ryan, that's illegal." But you wouldn't leave it there. You would work with me to find a way to work within the confines of serving the public, serving our community. And that was what I always appreciated with you. You have a fantastic legal mind, and that is the thing I'm going to I'll miss your laugh echoing through the halls of the entire building, which is, you know, anybody that's met you knows that you've got quite a laugh. But I will absolutely miss having access to that brain of yours that is so experienced and so dedicated that it's been an honor to work with you. And wish you the best of luck with everything that, with your new career and your family and everything that that you have coming in the future. So.
When Sarah joined the county council's office, I was 12 years old. And I know you appreciate that comment. If you can believe it, I've kind of forgotten over the years at a lot of points that you're a lawyer. And I mean that in the absolute best way, because we don't say always go ask county council on that. It's like, oh, well, Sarah knows, ask Sarah. I agree with Roger's comments that we would often have our meetings with chairs, but I was surprised you didn't have a therapist's couch in there. I mean, that was, truth be told, you were, I don't know, a consigliere, you know, you were a counselor, and you have been somebody who has been an expert in providing, I think, advice and navigating and options. You've kept us out of prison. You've done your job very well, but you've been so much more than that to this organization. You're probably one of the most unsung heroes of the county when it comes to the county organization, because county council is working, but literally to support every other single operation. And if people think there's a lot of lawsuits in California, you should meet, you know, the team that has to defend a public entity that is small and mighty. And I think your legacy is that you've built up this really great team, and we're continuing to inherit that and benefit from that. And I really appreciate that. Sarah's not only been the leader of our county council team here and such a supporter, but I still never knew your title, so I just keep kind of playing around with it. But what I've had is the consul who offers counsel to the county council of counselors, something like that. You're the lawyer of the lawyers. You've been elected as the statewide public attorney representing all county councils. Tuolumne County had that leadership serving us over that period of time. And, you know, I took the LSAT, which is kind of like being a lawyer. And I've always appreciated being able to work with you and had similar conversations that you can't do that, that's illegal, especially coming onto the board as a new supervisor. There's a huge learning curve, and there's been a lot of change over that period of time. And all I want to say is that there are very, very few people that I hold in as high of trust and regard and friendship as I do you, and you're going to be deeply missed here. It was always the rule, but if I accidentally text you at 2 or 3 a.m. because I have an idea, you now no longer have to legally reply. But I do hope that you're going to be around. I know that we'll still be able to be in touch. It may be in 15-minute billable increments, but that you'll be a leader for us in the county and still a friend moving forward. So Sarah, thank you. You've made this, for me, such a better experience, and I don't know really how I would have done this without you, not just your job and your competence, but you in that position the last 5 years, very seriously.
Thank you. Everything they've said is spot on, right? We're new to this role. Obviously, somebody's known you a lot longer. I'll let him embarrass you accordingly. And then something Supervisor Brandon said that if there's no leather couch in your office, where were we meeting? Because every time I went in, there was a leather couch. I remember you telling me one time, hey, I'm the county lawyer, I'm not your therapist, as I, threw my feet up and went to go confess my sins. But, in all seriousness aside, I know our mutual law enforcement backgrounds, lawyers and, always get a bad rap at times, and they don't understand what you do and how you defend us and you protect us and you, make sure that you're always holding that level of integrity to the highest. And so, although I did not have the fortune to work with you as long as I was hoping, and as I've said publicly, I'm I'm sad that you're leaving, but I'm also glad that you're getting to spend the time with your family. I wholeheartedly endorse that. Go forth and conquer and enjoy it. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck.
Well, I guess we've saved the best for last. So besides her mom that's in the audience, I've probably known Sarah the longest. I would say 40 years or so, elementary school, high school. She did send me a text a few minutes ago that said if I embarrassed her and there's a bunch of legal terms after that, what would happen? But she knows I don't read them, so therefore we're gonna go ahead and pursue this right on down the road. So I have known Sarah a long time. The last 8 months, we spent a bunch of time in our office BSing and laughing, I would say, on some sad days and some good days. And so I will miss her, and I'm proud to call her my friend. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. All right. With that, we've already done public comment on it. I always remind people, we still have to approve it, so it could not pass. We'll double check. I'll be looking for a motion to approve of item 5 for a certificate of recognition for Sarah Carrillo, technically still, I think, county council for a little bit.
So moved.
Supervisor Griefer?
I just was going to say, did we want to read the certificate?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to read it afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I was going to make a motion that we accept whatever was written on that certificate. So
Oh,
with
no,
that being
we're all
said-
going to get up and we're going to have a group photo.
Full
We're going to read it
embarrassment? All
in
right,
front.
well,
We're
then-
doing the whole shebang.
Excellent, let it ride.
Yeah, absolutely.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a first by Supervisor Kirk. We have a second by Supervisor Campbell for approving of item 5, certificate of recognition for Sarah Carrillo. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, abstaining, it passes unanimously. So with that, we do have an item 6 after. We're going to temporarily recess so that we can, actually, we should read this probably right now.
I believe that item's being pulled, the closed session.
Nah, we'll deal with that later. Yeah, so from the Tuolumne County Board of Supervisors, in recognition and in honor of Sarah Carrillo for her exemplary leadership, exceptional integrity, and outstanding commitment throughout her years of dedicated public service to the people of Tuolumne County. Beginning as a deputy probation officer in April of 2004, she continued her service as deputy county counsel starting in April of 2005 through her appointment as county counsel in March of 2013. And to this day, she has served the public for over 21 years. The Board of Supervisors extends its sincerest gratitude and appreciation. And I'm going to ask that everybody, let's give her a very embarrassing round of applause. And I think it'd be only appropriate to ask Sarah to give a speech.
That's what we paid for.
Thank you, everybody. Those are really, really kind, heartfelt words, and they mean the most to me because I've worked with all of you for so long and everyone else who spoke. There is no higher honor than when people that actually have worked with you and know you speak kind words about you, and that it's sincere, and I really appreciate it. And today is filled with bittersweet emotions. It's what I told your board when I submitted my resignation. I'm really excited to start my new chapter, but I'm really sad to leave so many people that I've worked with over the years and have built relationships with. Practicing in a small rural county law office has been so amazing for me. We get to dive into so many areas of civil law, and I've learned so much in my last 21 years. And I get to serve my hometown. You know, what could be better than that? I have to absolutely thank the staff in my office. They are the best team. They're talented, they're dedicated public servants. They also have the same desire as I do to provide excellent legal service. So please don't take them for granted. They're amazing. They do a lot of work, like you all mentioned, that is sort of behind the scenes that the public doesn't get to know about, that they forget about. But these folks here protect some of the most vulnerable people in our community. They are, daily advocating for abused and neglected children with our dependency cases, or helping those suffering from mental illness or homelessness with their work for behavioral health or the public guardian or APS. So when you're thinking about that, please always remember the work that these folks do because it often goes unnoticed. I also want to thank all the other staff and department heads, the ones that spoke today, and the other ones out there that I've worked with over the years. I really want to thank the CAO and his team. I have loved collaborating with the CAO office because I feel like that's how we best serve your board, is our collaboration to make sure that we're moving things forward. And I used to think Roger was an introvert, but he comes in and tells me good stories, so I'm gonna miss that, Roger. I think those of you who know me know I take the role of county council really seriously, but I've always tried to do that serious work in a joyful manner. So I am absolutely going to miss laughing with you guys and joking around and making light as we're working on really serious problems, because usually when our office is involved, there's a problem we're trying to fix. And I do have a passion for public service. It is challenging and it is rewarding. So in today's climate, when there is so much sort of misunderstanding and polarization, I just want to remind you all, and really for the public, because you guys know this, the public servants we have working here, the people in this room, in this building, and all the county buildings, they are good people, they are hard workers, and they are trying to serve the community, trying to do the best they can. And I want to thank your board for supporting me. And I feel so fortunate that I have had the support of you. I've had the support of prior boards. It's really a blessing. And while I'm not going to be part of this team anymore, I will always be cheering you guys on because I want the success of this county. This is my hometown. This is my county. I'm not leaving. I'm just going to be working somewhere else, but I will always be cheering and rooting you guys on. So thank you for allowing me to serve the last 12 years as county council, and I'm going to pass the torch to some amazing folks who I know will serve you all well. Thank you very much.
Okay, with that, we will recess. I think actually we're adjourning then if we're pulling item 6. We're going to adjourn our Board of Supervisors meeting, but I'm going to ask everybody, please don't leave yet. I want to take a group photo with that. So let's all convene here kind of in the center and we'll figure it out.